Hi everybody, welcome to our Elements of Poetry slideshow. Today we're going to learn about form, sound devices, imagery, mood, tone, and theme in poetry. So poetry is any kind of writing or a form of writing that uses not only words but also form, patterns of sound, imagery, and figurative language. They all convey a message. Any poem will include some or all of these elements. First of all, let's talk about form. A poem's form is its appearance. Poems are divided into lines. Many poems, especially longer ones, may also be divided into groups of lines called stanzas. Stanzas function like paragraphs in a story. Each one contains a single idea or takes the idea one step further. How many stanzas are in the following poem? This poem is called Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Take a minute to click on the tag and answer this question in survey format. Next, we're going to talk about sound devices in poetry. Some poems use techniques of sound such as rhythm, rhyme, and alliteration. First, let's talk about rhythm. The patterns of beats or stresses in a poem are called rhythm. Poets use patterns of stressed and unstressed syllables to create a regular rhythm in a poem. Try beating out the rhyme as you read these lines. She was a child and I was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. Now we're going to talk about rhyme. Rhyme is one of the most common sound devices in poetry. The repetition of the same or similar sounds, usually stressed syllables at the ends of lines, but sometimes rhyme does occur within a line. Take a look at the following poem and click the tag to decide which are the words that rhyme in this poem. Now we're going to talk about rhyme scheme, which is basically just the plan that the poet makes for the rhyme in the poem. The rhyming pattern that is created at the end of the lines of poetry. In this poem, we have a B, C, B rhyme scheme. That's because the first line of your poem always has an A as its signifier. If the second ending word does not rhyme with the first word, which in this case is lamb, then you need to give it a new letter, the next consecutive letter in the alphabet, which is B. If you go down to the next line and look at the last word, does the word went rhyme with either lamb or snow? If the answer is no, you need to take the next consecutive letter in the alphabet, which in this case is C. Then you go to the last word in the last line, which is go. Does it rhyme with lamb? No. Does it rhyme with snow? Yes, it does. So you're going to give it the same alphabetic character as snow. So in this case, the rhyming words are snow and go, so they will both have a B. And A and C are lamb and went, and they do not rhyme. So this is an A, B, C, B rhyme scheme. If the poem does not have a rhyme scheme that's considered to be, if it does not have a rhyme scheme, it's considered to be a free verse poem. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words. So basically it's the opposite of rhyme. Rhyme is the ending sounds, alliteration is the beginning sounds. 7 silver swans swam silently seaward. Or, this one you may have heard, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Onomatopoeia. Those are words that are used to represent particular sounds. Crash, bang, boom, zip. Click on the tag to learn more about onomatopoeia. Repetition is a poetic device that many poets use. It's the repeating of a particular sound device to create an effect. Or, to create emphasis, a poet may repeat words or lines within the poem. Imagery is what poets use when they use words that appeal to the reader's senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Which senses does the following stanza appeal to? Click on the tag to answer the question. Figures of speech in poetry. Figures of speech are a special kind of imagery. They create pictures by making comparisons. The first one we're going to talk about today is simile, and it's the most common of the figures of speech. It's a comparison using like or as. Talk of your cold, through the parka's fold, it's stabbed like a driven nail. In these particular lines of poetry, two things are being compared. Metaphor is similar to simile, but it does not use like or as. It describes one thing as if it were another thing. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The key here is the moon was a ghostly galleon. The author is saying that the moon was that thing. An extended metaphor. This is a metaphor that extends throughout the entire poem instead of just a few lines of poetry. In this poem by Langston Hughes, you'll see the mother is talking about a stairway in terms of an extended metaphor. Personification. It gives human characteristics to something that's not human. And the stars o'erhead were dancing heel and toe. In The Highwayman, images create a picture of Tim. Which figures are used to describe his eyes and his hair in the following lines? Which figures are used to describe the following? Click on the tag and answer the questions. Now we're going to discuss mood or tone of our poem. The feelings the author's words choices give the poem are called the mood. Again, we're going to take a look at Robert Frost's poem, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. This time I want you to pay attention to the mood or tone that the author creates with the words that they have placed in the poem and the setting they've created. Lastly, we're going to talk about theme today. The theme of a poem is its central or main idea. To identify a poem's theme, ask yourself, what ideas or insights about life or human nature do you find in the poem? Now that you're up to speed on poetry, it's time to try some of our other activities. Below, you'll find 4 activities from Quizlet that you can try practicing your poetry skills with. Have a great time, and thanks for listening.